I think it was a 6-second delay.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome into the show. Hey, how are ya? As always, I'm your handsome, charming, charismatic, and just generally sexy lumbersexual Viking tattooed. Is it lumbersexual? Yes, that's me, Seth. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm here with Paul. It's Gabrielle. Anyway, he's here too. And Trader Mo with Momentum is here as well today. We're all here. The team's all in. Donna's producing and switching the cameras. He's working the boards. I see a bunch of hilarious comments coming through. As always, we join you on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. We welcome you in all over the world. We're thrilled to have you. Paul, we're thrilled. Our Patreon hit over 1,000 members this weekend. Incredible. And we're very close to 20,000 total subscribers.
That should happen today, but the subscriber count has been a little slow today for some reason.
So I challenge some of our OG homies is click that little share button and send this to someone who needs to see this, because boy, oh boy, when the markets tank, Paul, the finger pointing begins, the excuses start. And here we are, just the four of us sitting in this room for the last 2 years, telling you a disciplined process that doesn't have to get you involved in all this malarkey. And sure enough, some people are in. Yes, we're going to talk about.
Why did Ben's comment of subscribe to dip? Why did that get banned? I had to show it. Why did they care about
weird.
That one?
So here's what's coming out today. This week. We did indeed do an EBIX update. We covered their fraud. We covered what's going on with their audit and how that affects any company, including this one. Paul and I went apey on CCIV. I almost lost my everything, Paul. I was about ready to take my shirt off and just start screaming into the camera. You will see that. When is that coming out, Donald?
The CCIV video?
Yes.
Tonight.
The CCIV, you'll see me make a fool of myself this evening as I discuss the valuation of CCIV, what those idiots who pumped all their money into it happened over the last a day and a half.
Yeah, Seth got pretty steamy in this video. I was pretty impressed. But guys, a lot of people are asking about EBIX. We did an EBIX video too. I think you guys should watch the EBIX video when it comes out tomorrow, Don, or maybe Thursday?
EBIX comes out
tomorrow. So it's a great video because this is why we diversify. There's fraud. When did we do the EBIX video?
I'm sorry.
When did the EBIX video, the first one, come out?
First one, I want to say January.
Oh,
because that's when you first touched on it.
Yeah.
Because it was
So Seth bought it in
hype stocks.
Seth bought it in July for $21. He sold it yesterday for $35, but he was buying it because of the little book that beats the market.
The little book that beats the market, yes.
And he still made some money. I didn't agree with him selling it, not because I believe in the company.
Don't spoil the whole show. We will come out with EBIX tomorrow. As Paul continually pulls out his wedgie, we will continue with the show.
Can we show my shorts off? These are new shorts, guys.
Well, give Don a second to stand up there while I talk. Paul, go ahead, Don. Paul is wearing some sort of svelte. Step to your left, Paul. Look at this salmon sort of skin.
This is pink.
Colored.
Isn't this pink?
As David Spicer says, you have the legs of a 7th grade gymnast. and he's really
14-year-old gymnast, doesn't he say that?
Yeah, well, same thing. Yes, he's been really working out
I'm
this
sporting
year,
some
guys.
LeBrons.
And those are LeBrons. Gosh, those are great. Anyway, that's the story with Paul's ridiculous outfit. And we check in with our momentum trader, Trader Mo. How are you, Don? Can you switch over to Mo? How are you doing, Mo?
I'm great, thank you. You know what's funny is you were talking about tell your friends to subscribe to this channel and share it with them. The days that I get the most text messages from the most random people that I haven't talked to in years, or they'll send me messages on LinkedIn or something, is days like today and yesterday when we get these massive pullbacks. So why don't you share it with them today so when things like this do happen, they don't have to panic and text me and bother me.
Yeah, Mo, I think you're absolutely right. Paul has been saying for years that he's looked wrong. Of course, when the market tanks, Paul, you've really been looking forward to a stock market correction because
I hate to talk about that.
What will come to reckoning when you think when that happens?
You know, February of last year, if you saw me, well, you don't follow me on Instagram. Actually, I stopped hiding myself on Instagram. But I was taking pictures of myself kissing the screen because I was so excited about the market going down. I did well on my short. I exited the short like 2 days by luck. I exited the short 2 days before the bottom, and then started adding to a new short position. My new short position, I'm down multiples of 7 figures, but I don't even worry about it because I think I'll end up being in the positive on that one too for a nice number. Today, I mean, whenever you have big pullbacks in stocks, the reason why you guys are in a better position than most is you have Uncle Paul to tell you it'll be okay. Mm-hmm. You'll have Uncle Mo tell you here's how you can make money with falls and jumps and all these things. It'll all be okay. The markets always come back over long periods of time. Your job, I mean, the average, when we look at our YouTube stat, the average person listening to our channel is in their 30s. You have 30 years until retirement. You're gonna do great. Your job is to learn a good process, build it up, and we're gonna help you teach that process. We're gonna teach you guys that process.
So today we're gonna go over some stocks like we do. We will take your questions. We will take some requests toward the end. We will go over our 8-pillar analysis, looking at some companies that our patrons themselves requested. And we've got, Don and I have been reading the comments, and so we're listening. We'd like to go over FuboTV, Texas Instruments, Schrodinger, CCL, of which I love. Paul, my son, my 10-year-old, we're probably gonna do some more videos with him in terms of educating kids on investing. He burst open the door yesterday off the bus and screamed, "Dad, did you see CCL go up today?" He's definitely invested in that company and he loves it.
I bought more CCL yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
And yesterday I was on the phone with Seth and Gio comes on the phone, Paul, CCIV is down a ton, should we short it? This is a 10-year-old kid telling me he should short a stock. I didn't know what shorting a stock was until I was in college. This is incredible. Like this is very, like I love Gio. And I texted you and your wife last night. I said, guys, Gio's different. Like we got to support this. We got to help him learn. And you asked the question, or maybe it was Beth. That's like, just support him when he wants to learn something. Let's go learn it. Let's keep him around us. That way he gets these ideas and gets into saving.
And then we're going to do Johnson & Johnson and Blackberry today. A lot of people have asked about Blackberry. We will cover it all today. Paul, should we get into some of these or take some early questions?
Let's take some early questions. I like the early questions as we build up the viewers.
I welcome everyone in from all over the world. I see our OG homies. I see you there, Benjamin. I see Llewellyn. I see a lot of our patrons, as always. If you have questions about some of the math we're going to go over today, the chat is incredibly helpful. A lot of our patrons, the community that we have built, they think like us, Paul. And so if you have a question, I'm certain a lot of our patrons in the chat will answer it for you if we don't get to it. And what else are people saying? In general, Paul, what do you think about oil? Someone asked about oil. Should we go off topic? Or
so
what do you
think? Guys, I don't like investing in commodities like that because I will use it to trade, but I really do well when it comes to buying an asset that's going to give me X amount of dollars a year and has potential to grow. For some reason in my head, that just makes the most sense. That doesn't mean you can't make money off these other commodities, things like that. I really, really like a cash flow stream. I can value a cash flow stream in assets a lot better than I can value gold. Now, with that said, I've bought gold miners, GDX and GDXJ. Those are 2 ETFs because I saw gold prices skyrocket, gold miners stay down, and their cost to refine, or what do you call it, mining or refining gold?
Yeah, refining, sure.
It's out of, I looked at it and said, this is out of proportion. So I bought gold miners. I didn't want to evaluate every individual gold miner. I just sat there and said, listen, I will buy an ETF and I will do well with it. And so far, I think it's up 60% this year. And as gold goes higher, which I think gold has room to grow as the stock market starts to go down at some point and people get worried about inflation. I think gold on a long-term trend up, in my opinion, and I'm making a bet with that. And I plan on keeping my GDX and GDXJ for quite a bit of time. Like, I don't see myself selling that for another several years. Like, I think gold has a long way to run.
I agree.
Paul, double down on.
No, I agree with that about gold. I have
Paul,
the same position.
Paul, double down on. James is asking, will you double down on your idea of a bubble, a correction, a crash, when it's going to occur?
I have no idea when it's going to occur. I will never, ever try to guess that. I'm just going to make my bets on it. Do I think we're overpriced and it'll end up being ugly? Yes. Do I know when that's going to happen? No. I just know it's going to, I mean, I just look at history going, why would it be different this time? And it won't be. If any time in the world was going to change the world, it was the 2000s with the bubble, with the tech world, with the internet. That was changing the world, and look what happened. So this is not going to be different this time. It's going to be the same as before, and I'm just going to wait patiently. And somebody asked in the Paul Shorts chat, which, by the way, guys, you need to sign up for the Patreon. Trust me when I say, every time we raise the price, we get dozens of messages from people saying, oh, I missed it, can I get the old price? And we always say, no. Sign up now. There's only 160 spots remaining in the lower one. There are 2 other tiers available. In the highest chat, you get direct access to me. And for everybody out there who tries to direct message me, I don't see all the messages. Every once in a while when I'm, in the middle of something, or sorry, when I have free time, I might respond to a message here and there, but I really want to support the people who pay a lot of money to talk to us. But anyhow, somebody said the other day, what do you do as you wait? And I just said, I wait. Like, wow, that discipline. I'm like, that's what they saw. They understood the discipline that I have about waiting. Now, I am getting into momentum trading, which will help me as I wait, but I've also done options, which has helped me when I wait, and I'm making good money there, but I have no problem waiting. To me, a stock going through the moon doesn't make me have any FOMO. And I will say the thing I said in a video, Katy Perry, when you believe in nothing, you fall for everything. I'm trying to teach you guys what to believe in that makes sense to you, and then you'll understand the future as you go through.
I want to address this, Paul. So, Dankus Ranch just said, which I appreciate these comments, forget the hype stocks that make you money, burn your portfolio with fraudulent companies like EBIX. Now, I would say that EBIX...
They said in the chat?
Yeah, just now. So, Dank, I appreciate your comment. The hype stocks make you money and portfolio with fraudulent companies like EBIX. Obviously, fraud is very rare, Paul.
It is rare, but it happens more often than people think. And the hype stocks, you're making money because the stock goes up. That's called speculation. That's not investing.
Or you're not making money if you have a large stake in CCIV this morning.
And somebody says, right, oh, that's the one. I think by the end of this bull market, by the end of the bear market, the next bear market we're going to have, because we will have a bear market, guys. It always happens. At the end of it, you're going to realize that all these hype stocks were there might be a few that go up. Amazon went up in February because of the whole, but it's not going to end up pretty. And if you believe in it, more power to you. But I'm just trying to teach you the fundamentals of what history has shown over 150 years of stock market.
So we are going to stay tuned. We are going to talk about EBIX and Mo. What do you have for us?
I want to answer one of the questions. The person named Jelly asked it about these ARK ETFs. So going back to the show that we did a few months ago, Paul said you could buy any ETF and just go with it, and this is what you do over time to grow your portfolio. When it comes to these ARK ETFs should not be moving and skyrocketing on you. So these kind of ETFs you guys want to stay away from. If you want to trade them, and I can't believe I'm saying this, go for it. But this is not something that you want in your retirement portfolio that's going to grow over time. Avoid these. Stick with Vanguard. Stick with SPY ETFs. Do not get into these ARK things right now.
Yes. Paul, as I assume people are busting you up for your Katy Perry quotes. I knew, most people quote very famous investors.
But it makes sense what I said. Like, I remember hearing that song 10 years ago and going, oh my God, that's the best line. Because when you believe in nothing, you will fall for everything. Just think about it, guys. If you have a foundation in belief, it's going to be hard for somebody to say to you, hey, believe this. You're like, no, that doesn't make sense. But if you believe in nothing, every single thing that somebody says to you, you're going to jump at. So get a foundation, get a process, get a belief system. I'm not saying it has to be ours, but get one that you're going to stick with, tried and true, and you will do better than if you don't. It's been proven time and time again in investing that when you have a process that you stick to, you do beat the market. But you have to be wrong for long periods of time.
I'm speaking for Don and maybe Mo. I do wish you would have brought up the Katy Perry quote in our board meeting before going live on the show. So we appreciate that. I guess I have to stand by that as well. Okay, folks. Here we go, guys. Anyway, so we're going to get into this, guys. We invite you to tickle the like button, tickle Paul's little buns and his little salmon shorts. He loves that, and we will get into this. Paul,
They're going to TLC now.
oh boy,
That's great.
Okay, Paul, should we get into not FUBO, which I said wrong about 3 or 4 times? It's FuboTV. Don, what is this thing? Tell me about FUBO.
It's a streaming service for TV. It rivals pretty much like any other one that's out there right now. It's gained a lot of hype over the last few, I want to say over the last year. So this one is now currently being investigated for something misleading for investors. So there is a lawsuit potentially coming down the pipeline for them. But that's why we wanted to take a look at it, see what's going on with this stuff.
And look at this chart.
Paul is, again, folks, Paul is showing the Everything Money software and website our patrons will be getting released on April 15th. You guys will be beta testing it very soon, but this is the amazing software you get where you can track your stocks, your metrics, your income statements, and get immediate access to the 8-pillar analysis. Our patrons are getting this. If you sign up for Patreon, you get this for free as long as you're a patron. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, so this stock, as you can tell, has had some massive... So as recently as October 9th, it was at freaking October 14th, it was at $9 a share. Got all the way up to $62 a share. 2 months later, on the 22nd of December, fell down to 24,
This is FUBO?
yeah.
This is chaos.
And now it's at 40. Okay, so we start doing the 8 pillars here?
Let's do it. What is the market cap and dividend for FuboTV?
Okay, so market cap is
Go ahead, Paul.
$1.8 billion.
Okay.
0 dividend, not a shocker. The good news is they have no free cash flow in the last year, so they can't really afford a dividend. PE, this should be NA, but it says negative 4.285. This is part of the beta process. We need to change this to not existent or dashes because that's a non-existent PE. This is not a good thing. Negative 4.285 is not good. We actually, when it's negative, you want it to be higher, but I won't get into that. So right now we have...
What do we have?
We have a profit margin.
X on PE.
And X on profit margin because they lose a lot of money too.
Oh boy. Okay, we're off to a great start, a thrilling start. Pillar number 3 is revenue growth over the past 5 years.
All right. Oh boy, this is weird. This is all the data we're getting. This is so strange. Okay, it's a check. 217,110 million. Is that accurate? What is going on here? Let me look up. Let me make sure this is right because we get the same data provider that White Charts gets. So let's see how accurate it is.
White Charts is, yeah. So folks, as we said, we're beta testing this. Paul's spending $1 zillion.
Holy cow! It is right.
It is right. Okay.
Oh my God, that's insane.
So
okay.
The growth is
insane. The growth is absolutely crazy. Net income, it actually almost made money to losing a lot of money. So that's an X.
X for profit growth, pillar number 4. Oh boy, this is getting ugly.
Oh my God.
Go on, Paul.
Shares outstanding.
Pillar number 5.
3,000 to 138 million. That's an X. Is that good?
So folks, if you're new to the show, we want the shares being bought back so that as a shareholder, you have a larger stake in the company. And what were those?
White Charts doesn't even have, oh wait, that's why. Hang on a second.
Okay, I was gonna say, is that shares outstanding is our pillar number 5.
See, we have different numbers here for.
Go ahead, before I lose my mind here.
Let's see here. So annual okay, so in 2000, oh wow, no, it was 3,000. They had 3,000 shares outstanding, and now they have freaking. Oh, that's epic. That's epic.
So that's an X for pillar number 5.
I don't know that 138 million is correct, but it's a huge number now.
Should we move on?
Let's move on.
This is chaos.
I mean, guys, I'm not. So part of investing, guys, is, people sit there and say you have to do more research. No, I don't. To me, I look at it saying I don't even want to deal with it. There's no. It's just like if you went on a first date. And the woman walks in, or the guy walks in. Let's say you're a woman, and the guy walks in and goes, "What's up?" And it says the B word to you. What are you gonna do? Oh, let me give this guy a little bit more time. Like, this might be good. Or if he's at dinner and he goes, "Hey, so we can leave and have sex now?" Are you gonna give him any more time? You're just gonna be like, move on. Like, this is not worth it.
That is your go-to line, I've heard at dinner.
It works for me. 84% of the time, it works 1% of the time.
That's right.
So and if they say yes, I'm like, wait a second. I'm moving on from this. Could I be missing out on something? Absolutely. But I got to spend my time researching the companies that actually matter to me. This already doesn't, so I move on.
Mo, we're going to cut to trader Mo here with Momentum. Mo, what do we got on this? What do you got on FuBo?
So when it comes to trading these things, and I say it all the time, this thing went public on October 12th of last year, or of 2020. So to me, I have to have at least 1 year of a chart to be able to do anything with anything, because like I've said before, the chart gives me a whole story. What I have right now is maybe one chapter of the book. So there's just not enough data for me to go and say this is good or bad, because I don't have any patterns to go off of. We can see the price has just gone up and just stayed the same. So I'm even going to go over to the daily chart, and we have two moving averages that we see. 25-day and 50-day. There's not even a 100-day or 200-day because the stock hasn't been public for that long. So I'm just missing a ton of information here. I'm not going to do anything with this. If you guys want to do anything with it, go ahead and day trade it on your 15-minute chart, but do not do anything from this perspective.
I just found a bug in everythingmoney.com, which I love finding. The shares outstanding, they were adding up the last 4 quarters instead of taking the most recent quarter of data. So whatever shares outstanding we see, we have to divide by 4 for the actual number of shares outstanding. That doesn't mean that it's still accurate though when it's increase or decrease.
People are asking when do patrons get to beta test the whole site?
I'm hoping for March 15th. I already have the highest level group testing it right now, but we need to get the login. It'll probably be April 1st, and worst case scenario, you're getting it all April 15th. Remember, we're constantly going to be doing a beta test. When you guys get it on April 15th, there are going to be bugs. The goal is to report them to Don, and then we will report them to our new developer. We just hired a new full-time developer for everythingmoney.com. And the one thing I always stress with people is when you have your phone, every time you do an update, they're fixing bugs. You have an app for 10 years, they're fixing bugs every single time, because that's just the way software works. So when we say beta test, it'll be basically be a constant beta test, but I have had some of the Paul Super Shorts. I gave it to everybody in the Paul Super Shorts channel, and they've loved it, and they've reported things that have been accurate. It's been wonderful.
There is Mo. Wouldn't you agree? There's sort of an elephant in the room here involving EBIX. They kind of want to know more, Paul. Why don't you just get to it so you can sort of please them? Just give them your general take on EBIX. We'll do a full 12-minute video on EBIX coming out tomorrow. But now that we're all here, this is the point of this, Paul. Go ahead and give me your thoughts on what happened with EBIX, and we're going off the cuff a bit, but just give us your thoughts.
There was fraud. There's alleged fraud going on. You have to understand what the fraud is. Decide if it's something that is long-term going to affect the company to go to zero or not. If you just feel uncomfortable with it, sell the stock right now. Just sell. If you feel uncomfortable, don't wait for it to rebound. Just move on. Seth had it as part of his little book that beats the market. I told him not to sell because I believe in a process. You buy the stocks in the magicformulainvesting.com and you stick with them, highs and lows, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff. He decided to sell yesterday at 35. Looks like a genius today. He bought it at 21 in July, still made money. This is fraud. This happens. I say it to every single thing, every single time we do things. I personally am not willing to do the in-depth analysis to see if there's fraud in a company. If it glares out to me like free cash flow is nothing and earnings are this high and it's consistent, that's different. But even then, I'm not saying it's fraud. I'm just going to say, listen, I don't understand what's going on here. I'm going to move on. Fraud will happen. It's happened dozens of times in the last 20 years. It'll continue to happen. The question you have to ask yourself is, are you sticking to a process? Or if it makes you scared, you should move on. Like don't not sleep at night because of this. And this is a big chunk of your portfolio. This is why we preach about diversification, guys. Diversification is good because if you have 40 stocks, EBIX is one of them, and it goes to zero, you only lost 2.5% of your money. It's still not a huge chunk of money. That's why we talk about diversification.
Mo
wants to talk.
Mo, are you seeing anything over there?
Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at the chart. I can if you want me to. But so their accounting firm was RSM. They used to do a lot of accounting for all of my LLCs, and they are a big, big firm throughout the country, and maybe the world, I don't know. But to see that RSM was the one that pulled out of there, they work with a lot of these major funds and stuff. And to see that, I was like, oh boy, there has to be really something wrong here for them to pull out of something big like this one. So this was, it was interesting when I saw that.
Yeah, so I see a lot of questions up there, folks. We have done a lot of videos, so if you're just jumping in and saying Palantir or Biogen, we have done them very recently. You can search Don. They can search they can search Everything Money on YouTube and find these videos. But we're certainly working as hard as we can, guys, to update some of these companies, especially when news comes out.
Social dancers is a good question. You mind pulling that up?
Sure. Go ahead, Don. Social dancers, our dear friend from Toronto. I love you. I miss you. Are there anything that protects consumers against fraud? How do we know when we can trust a company's numbers if fraud is bound to occur, Paul?
So that's the whole point of learning more in-depth analysis. You have to decide how far you want to take the analysis. Are you trying to take it very depth where you're deciding? I did an analogy earlier that most people should be here. ETF savings, right? Gary, our good friend in Boston, is here. He's talking to previous customers.
This is a very serious investor.
Yeah, Gary is uncovering every rock in the world before he does an investment. I am right here, okay? Now, to a lot of you, you probably think I'm here because it sounds a lot like, but I'm probably up here, which means I'm doing a lot of research. I'm having people find me answers. I'm not talking to customers. I'm not talking to employees. I'm not buying small companies. I'm trying to buy bigger companies that are selling for a discount. When it comes to fraud, you're going to have them all across the board here. Mm-hmm. I think it's less likely with Gary because he does such an in-depth analysis. But fraud's going to happen. Are there consumer protections? I guarantee there will be lawsuits about this. Is there a specific protection? No, I don't think so. I'm not a lawyer. But fraud is kind of a risk of investing. As much as that sucks, that's why it's important to know what companies are auditing them, et cetera. But even then, we've seen the big companies miss on big audits too. It's like it happens all the time. You just have to sit there and do your own analysis. And if a story sounds too good to be true, probably is. Mm-hmm. So I hate to say it in this generic way of saying, just have a diversified portfolio. Every few years, you'll probably have some fraud that happens in one of your companies. Doesn't mean the company's going to zero, by the way. I won't talk about the exact company, but last year, I had a company at $90 a share fell to 70 because of fraud allegations, at 150, 170 now because they fixed the problem. It wasn't as big a deal. So these are the things that happen. Not every company goes under because of fraud. It could be a rogue person in the company they get rid of, fix the problem, own up to it, and move on.
Paul Outlaw asked, would you ever look into the management and research them and their backgrounds of the management teams for some of these larger companies?
Absolutely. At some point here, you're going to decide where are you as an investor. That's more of right here. I'm not doing that. I'm not going in there and saying, hey, give me your credit score and all that stuff. I'm just not doing that. Why? Because I want to look at I'm also buying much bigger companies. Much bigger companies are less likely to have fraud occur on a grand scale because it takes a lot of people together. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen because as you guys have seen, WorldCom, Enron, Tyco, these guys had all major fraud that happened and they pulled, but some of them I actually didn't think, the Enron thing was blatant fraud. But either way, it all depends on how far you want to go. But just remember, unless you're in the company working there and you're a CFO, you're not going to know everything. You just got to look for indications that say, there's a book called Financial Shenanigans or something like that I read. It tells you how to look for fraud. But even that one, you're not going to get everything. So just know to trust your gut. If something doesn't seem right, move on, find something else.
Yeah, if you made it this far in our live stream, we appreciate you guys. If you're jumping in and out and you're in lunch, we appreciate you guys watching. I would say that our goal is to get you leveled up a bit in your life. Paul, I come from a guy who first of all, never thought I would retire, never thought I'd have enough money to save, let alone not hire a financial advisor, and then take my stocks into my own hands and trade them myself. And now, by the way, we have to look at our options contracts. You opened me up to the idea of covered calls and puts through options. And so if the idea of leveling up and maybe being more of an expert, getting control of your own money, you can join our Patreon. As always, we have tons of patrons talking right now, and feel free to check it out. The link is in the description below. You will get a community of like-minded investors where you can bounce ideas. All these questions you have in the chat, they can go to patrons and they will answer them instantly, Paul. And
that's what the great thing about our Patreon group. I see the differences in opinions that we have in the Patreon group, and I love it. Like, yesterday we were talking about Cisco, and I said the price I thought it was worth versus the price I said I was going to buy it at a certain price. And somebody's like, well, wait, you said it was worth this. And I said, yeah, I'm a value investor. If I think something's worth 40, I'm trying to buy it for 32 or less or something like that, whatever the number is. I don't know what the exact number is, but these are the good conversations. And I don't want everybody just to follow my lead. Exactly the opposite. I want somebody to say to me, Paul, well, what you didn't realize was blah, 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 blah. Wonderful. There are so many ways to make a lot of money without investing in the exact same things.
Make sure you guys are tickling that thumbs up, tickling Paul's little tush there, and we'll get along to Texas Instruments. Paul, do you want to look that one up?
Oh, what about Blackberry?
Let's do a Blackberry right now. Blackberry is Don. What's going on with Blackberry? Can you fill us in?
I love that I give you guys research. Anyway, no, it's just 2 hours. BlackBerry is being proposed to work with Amazon on creating apps for connected cars with Amazon.
Oh, snap.
It's not concrete, but it is being talked about in the tech industry where they will create the applications or APIs that'll help Amazon connect to connected vehicles.
You see why I went to Don, guys? This is so silly. Why did I even try and host the show? Don, step up. You're coming into my spot here soon. Paul, let's pull up you got it there, the Everything Money channel. The Everything Money website on BlackBerry. What is the market cap whenever you're done texting your homies?
Well, you know who I'm texting is with my girl in Mexico that everybody's all of a sudden ranting about on the video. I didn't realize she even popped on the video.
What Paul is talking about is he did a live stream from Mexico. And this gorgeous Mexican beauty just pranced through the scene like a little white fawn there, just pranced right through, and then everybody froze. Who's that beautiful woman? That's Paul's new girlfriend. Would you call her your girl?
Spicer's comment. He goes, "Are we all just going to ignore this girl walking behind you?"
I didn't even realize, because when I look at the camera, I'm looking at the camera, not the screen, so I'm not even seeing what's behind me. And yesterday, she's like, "No, Paul, I ran across." I'm like, "You didn't look like you were running."
Paul, she's stunning. She's intelligent. She's got a great job. I mean, she's worldly.
Worldly? Because she's from Mexico?
Hello, Mo. She lived in Canada for years. She's
you're right.
worked in America.
I'll give you that.
Both of you can suck it. Let's get after, what is the market cap?
Oh, let's go to the metrics.
Now people are asking which video is she in. We will highlight
What
her.
video was it? It was oh, no, I remember which one it was. It was...
Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply. So check
9 minutes and 15 seconds. Is that what it was?
That's
Something
right.
like that.
Wow.
Somebody put a comment in there with the timestamp.
Yeah, that's all it was. That was
okay. So that's what's going on in our lives, folks.
I should tell her right now to get in the live stream because people are like, she should come on our live stream and talk. So anyway, she had a photo shoot today and she sent me some pictures.
Can we please get on to BlackBerry? I love you. I love you. I love you.
You're the one that told me okay, anyways, $6 billion market cap, guys.
Go on.
0 dividend.
Uh-oh, okay.
What's so funny?
Just keep going.
What was said? I gotta know what was said.
Mo, what?
It was Spicer. He said she's probably a dude knowing Paul.
Jesus, Spicer. Paul can afford top tier beards or broads. Which one do you mean?
Uh-oh, Hunter. All right, here we go.
Are we in high school?
That's
Yes,
good,
Dom,
yes,
we
we
are.
are.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Wrong one.
Oh, now you've done. Okay, the market cap for BlackBerry.
Okay,
is
now.
$6 billion.
$6 billion. PE is negative, so that's an X. Profit margin is negative. Guys. BlackBerry, you'll see in the next photo. And by the way, over here on the right, we have 52-week high, 52-week low, and then all these moving averages. So right now, BlackBerry is at $10 or so, and that's above all of the major averages except for 25-day. So that's pretty cool. Anyhow, check this out, guys. Here's the income statement.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Pillar number 3 is revenue growth over the past 5 years.
1.5 to 965. That's an X. But look at this, Seth. In 2011, they did almost $20 billion in revenue.
What happened?
Well, remember, iPhone just dominated the market. I mean, and I bet you it was more before then. I just don't have the data going back that far. I mean, I had a BlackBerry. By the way, I loved the BlackBerry. You could mark a text as unread, which made me the happiest person in the world.
I'm going to fight somebody if Apple doesn't. I hope.
I don't know why they don't do that.
I hope Steve Jobs is listening to me in heaven, and I need a mark as unread on my text for Apple. Please, people.
He just doesn't read his texts.
Pillar number 4 is
minus 1.4 billion to a minus 830. So that's a check.
They're not losing as much money.
Congratulations. They made money a couple times in the last few years.
Pillar number 5 is shares outstanding.
So remember, we divide by 4 here, but still the same idea applies. 2.1 to 2.24. It's actually 500 some million to 500 some million. It's an X because it's going up. That's the bottom line.
Shares outstanding are good. This is 5 straight X's, Paul.
Is it?
It is.
Jesus H. Okay. Balance sheet. Cash on hand, 971 million. Total current liability, 427. And they almost have enough money to pay off all their debts.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Very nice. So
that's pretty nice. So it's a check mark there.
For number 6, free cash flow growth over the past 5 years.
Free cash flow. Cash from operations, less capital expenditures. On the Everything Money website, we actually do the math for you. We just inserted a statement here, which we probably shouldn't do, but I did it anyhow. Minus 318 million to a positive 25. Check mark there. There is growth. And the average, Seth, is minus 318. You know what? I'm not even going to look at the average. The average is too wide over the board. It's crazy. Actually, you know what? Do the average.
Go ahead. Minus 318.
Plus 824.
Yep.
Minus 130. Minus 34.
Minus 130. Minus 34. This is crazy.
Plus 25.
Plus 25.
Yes. Now divide by 5.
Okay, it's 140.
140. They're a $6 billion company. 140 even times 20 is $2.8 billion. That's an X. So the price of free cash flow is next. Guys, BlackBerry's got. So what's this new deal they announced with Amazon?
Go ahead, Don.
Oh, okay. They are being proposed to create the applications that will connect to cars for Amazon. It's still in the works, but that's the latest thing that's been trickling out of the tech space.
You know what? It kind of disappoints.
Say it again, Mo.
It kind of disappoints me that Amazon is doing this, because I think I have every smart home device that is made. Google, Alexa, the Apple one, everything. Alexa is by far, without a doubt, the best one. I was hoping that they would, what are they doing? Why are they going to get BlackBerry?
Mo's sad.
Vinny Ving goes, BlackBerry, what's next? Palm Pilot?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen,
I mean, I understand they want to. It's a platform that's already there. They can just use it and build off of it. They don't have to create something new. But
well, all right. Let's tell me.
And by the way, BlackBerry is very big on the government. I believe they do a lot of government work.
Their security is above other platforms.
I think that
that's
all
what it is.
presidents and people with top tier clearance have to use BlackBerry products.
So Mo, this begs the question: with all 8 pillars in the tank, but maybe an announcement coming, is this something we can trade?
Yeah, so this is something that I'm going to look for news on, and we can see that we did get that nice little bump here when they announced all of this stuff with Amazon. And as I say, anything that goes up like this and just gaps up day after day is going to come down, and it sure did. So right now they're in a downtrend. They're getting into this oversold area. So if I'm you guys, I'm buying a tracker share. Buy one share of this, it's $10, and just wait for this thing to turn up. Maybe you'll get some news and you start getting some nice engulfing candlesticks going up like this. You'll buy it, make a lot of money, and maybe it'll go to $70. I don't know. So it's something great. I do like BlackBerry. I mean, they've been around for a very long time. So.
Okay, Paul, that was our take on BlackBerry. It's an avoid, I would assume, out of you.
Yes, it is.
We have all X's in one check, so we're staying away from that. Paul, would you like
By the way, it's not even that reason. It's just,
yes.
What's the future of BlackBerry? I don't know, and I just sit there and say, I have other ways to use my money. Now, with that said, can you use options maybe as you make a bet? Somebody was saying how they've been in the business of a long time for automated driving, things like that. Then if you have a bet on them, figure out a way to use options as a way to bet on them in the future. We can do that in the Patreon. If you join us, we have an options chat. We can discuss how you can make bets in the future with very little capital using options, but it's all or none with options. You either make a lot of money or you lose all your money that you put in there. So there's risks involved.
All right, Paul, let's get into ticker symbol TXN. This is Texas Instruments. These are the calculator makers, right, Don? Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love them. TI-83.
Oh, baby, you and I.
The baseball game was the best.
What's that?
Oh, I never knew. I did the drug one. What was the drug one? Drug Wars.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Do you remember Drug Wars?
I remember the snake game and the baseball game.
Oh, the snake game was epic. But
that's what I was doing in math class.
Yeah, but I didn't pay attention to math class either. You know why? Knew it all.
Paul and I were in the same calculus class in high school, and here we are 2 decades later.
I remember where you sat, too.
Analyzing. What are we doing? Texas Instruments.
I was like, hey, there's that cool kid Seth who's never going to talk to me.
What is the market cap for Texas?
He has a chain wallet, like a freaking Hot Topic.
I did have a chain wallet, Don.
He still has that wallet.
I still have my wallet.
But that was no chain.
In fact, Paul, yeah. Mo, you knew that, right? This wallet's from 1994.
I did.
Yeah, this wallet right here. And there's a chain, folks.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, my God, there it is. You're right. There's
1994. Okay, it's been a lot of places with me. To hell with me. Let's go to Texas Instruments. What is the market cap, dear Paul?
$160 billion.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. They have a 2% dividend. So here's what we've done in Everything Money, guys. We're telling you the dividends paid, and we're telling you the free cash flow right above it. So we can immediately tell that they have ample cash flow in the last 12 months to pay their previous 12 months of dividend. So that's good. We don't have to sit there and waste all our time going and calculating. I'm making it all easy for you. And as time goes on, I hired a full-time developer to make this website better and better and better. And can I do a sneak peek of a view?
If you'd like, sure, please do.
Seth, why don't you talk so we take the screen away from me?
As always, guys, make sure you're tickling that thumbs up. Spring season is approaching. We'll probably do some videos from Paul's new mansion. We'll be in the back in the pool, so you'll be able to see Paul's little belly, and you can tickle that thumbs up because he's certainly
it's not working. Slack is not opening, but either way.
Well, let's get back to Texas Instruments. What is the market cap of 160 bill? What is the PE ratio, which is pillar number 1?
28.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Profit margin, though, is very ample, 39%. That's incredible, guys. The last 12 months, they've made 39% of their money. Their gross margin is 64%. We also have return on assets and return on equity. Return on assets, if you remember, is a very big one for our good friend Joel Greenblatt. What is it? What's being said about me?
No, it's funny. This is a great comment. Goldie says, we just jumped into DeLorean at 88 miles an hour. We're doing Texas Instrument calculators and Blackberries. Yeah, this is great. Okay, Paul, what is the revenue growth for Texas Instruments, ticker symbol TXN? What is the revenue growth over the past 5 years?
13.37 to 14.46, check mark. And the great thing about the Everything Money app, it'll put the last 4 quarters in there for you automatically as the previous year. Instead of Y charts, which I pay $500 a month for, they still tell me, they still won't give me the last 4 quarters all together, or the previous 4 quarters all together. So I'm good. I'm glad with that one. So it's a check mark there.
Pillar number 4 is profit growth over the past 5 years.
3.6, 5.6. Chickadee check all day long.
Shares outstanding. Just keep going, Paul. We got to do the show. Shares outstanding.
Again, this is inaccurate in terms of the actual number, but the trend is correct. It is a check mark. It went from about $1 billion down to 900 and some million. So check mark there.
So this is all checks besides the PE, which is just a smidge high over 20. Let's go to pillar number 6 is current assets greater than current liabilities, Paul.
Okay, current assets are 9.3 billion. Current liabilities, 2.19, and they almost, that's a big check, they almost have enough to pay off all their liabilities of 9.88 billion. So that's awesome, guys.
Pillar number 7 is free cash flow grow, your favorite.
My favorite.
Pillar.
Okay, free cash flow, 4.08 to 5.49, check mark there. And their average over the last, you ready, Seth?
Give me the middle 3, please.
4.67, 6.06,
That's nice.
5.8.
5.8. The free cash flow over the past 5 years is 5.25, Paul. So they have free cash flow growth, which is pillar number 7. Their average free cash flow is 5.25 billion. What's the price to free cash flow? You're doing 20 here, Paul.
I'm doing 20. So 5.25 times 20 is 105 billion. That's a no-go because they're a $160 billion company.
That's correct.
So it is an X there as well.
What Paul's saying is we took the free cash flow, we multiplied by 20. That gives us a market cap that we were thinking around the area of 100 to 105 billion, and it's currently valued in the real world at 160, thus overpriced, Paul. Wouldn't you agree?
Correct. And this is the Everything Money 8 pillars thing. Look at this. X, check, 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 X. Look at that. All here, calculated for you together right now. If you don't sign up for this, you are crazy. So this thing is going to be even better. This alone is worth $30, $40, $50, $60 a month, and we're only going to add to it. And whoever gets in now at 13 or 49, whatever levels you want, gets this for free. As it gets better, your price does not go up except for our yearly increases for cost of living, et cetera. Because I just hired a developer that's going to cost me $80,000 a year dedicated just to this site.
I would say that 2 of our patrons will be driving Teslas within the next year. You heard that correct. Uncle Paul is swiping the credit card and buying 2 brand new Tesla Model 3s for 2 of our patrons when we hit 50,000 subscribers. And Paul, if we hit 20,000 today, that'd be wonderful. When we hit 50,000 and then 100, we're giving 2 away, and we're filming a hilarious promo video this Friday. Mo, we're going to run over to Trader Mo for momentum on what company are we doing?
Texas Instruments.
Thank you, Texas Instruments, guys. I love you. Go ahead, Mo.
This is a good company. They have grown very consistently since, where are we at here? Since May. And this is a power stock. So a power stock is when you're over all 4 of your major moving averages and you're making new highs. So they made a new high there, and they just keep making new highs. These are the moving averages. So as they keep growing, their price it's incredible. So what we're gonna do is, if they can make a new high right here and get over, say, 182 or something, I'm adding again right here, and then I'm just gonna, hopefully this thing just keeps going. But there is no reason to doubt a power stock when the power stock is moving. Just make sure you're over all 4 of your major moving averages, make sure you're making these new highs going up, and when it makes a new high, go ahead and add to it, and you will probably be rewarded for it.
For those of you who love chess, I've been asked for a cheap plug from Matt from Chess Goals, a good friend of mine. YouTube.com/getchessgoals. If you want to learn chess, go there, subscribe. He's wonderful. Matt, say it in the chat. That's my useless plug.
He's been training you for years, Paul.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, what is your chess ranking, by the way?
I don't know. Like the rating system is based on over the board, and I haven't played over the board in over a year.
Yeah, I think I'm like a 15 or a 16. Okay.
100?
No, I don't know.
15, 1600 is good.
Good. All right, guys. We welcome everybody in. Make sure you're tickling.
Circuit
we love you.
City's next.
Yes, I was gonna say we. Yes, Paul.
love
Guys,
Circuit
listen.
City.
If you haven't jumped on board, we're basically just a comedy show. We set out, Paul, to not be that just look right in the camera and just say all these repeated facts that I read off a news channel. We're trying to bring you some happiness and some life, while at the same time teaching some investing techniques, processes, and goals. And so we're happy to have you in.
And we've been focusing a lot on stock market lately because it's been the big hype. It's short term. Everybody can get into it. As time goes on, we're going to do more and more for real estate. I love real estate. We own a lot of real estate. We plan on buying a lot more real estate as time goes on, and we're gonna teach more and more about it. Real estate. We are big believers in teaching investing, whether it's real estate, day trading, stocks, momentum trading, even commodities to a certain level. We're gonna try to teach what we can about it. Saving. I don't believe when people say to me like, "Oh, I'm not a real estate guy." Well, are you an investing person? That's what matters.
Nick asks, this is a great question, Paul. Does the presence or absence of other checks on the pillars affect your ideal price to free cash flow ratio? This is very interesting.
That's a great question.
Or is
yes.
it simply based off of growth?
Well, growth is the big thing. So if I see check marks on the free cash flow growth or revenue growth or profit growth, I really want to make sure that I value that into the multiple. If I see a decline, that also affects the multiple. The free cash flow growth, remember the 8 pillars doesn't tell me go do this or go don't do it. It says, okay, what do I need to understand? What questions do I need to ask next? That's what it does. My multiple will be affected by growth first and foremost. That's why I get very annoyed when people say to me, you don't understand the growth. No, growth is an important aspect of value investing. It's about determining what's the future value based on this growth. The question becomes, what growth do you put into it? One of the things that'll be on the Everything Money website will be your own stock calculator to tell you what you should pay for a stock, and you'll have to put in your own assumptions about growth based on what the company has done, based on your projection of the future. So that's the way it is.
What are some of those assumptions besides the price to free cash flow?
Net income growth, revenue growth, and profit margin. Those are the major assumptions you have to make, and shares outstanding. Remember, I like when shares outstanding is decreasing, but I don't want companies to buy shares when the stock is overpriced. So that's kind of like I wanted to make sure I said that, because somebody this weekend sent me a message and said, well, Paul, this company is doing a great job buying its shares back. I'm like, yeah, they're doing a terrible job buying their shares back. They shouldn't be buying their shares back. They're massively overpriced. If Tesla's doing the right thing, they're issuing more shares because of how stupid the market is about their stock. Get the cash in, don't take on debt. Let all the morons out there who want to buy more stock from them, give them the cash to go do what they want to do with it. But overall, I want to see that a company isn't doing that just to dilute without thinking about the owners. That's the big factor with the decreasing shares outstanding.
It is funny when you get hate, Paul, about Tesla in the comments. My new go-to message, Mo, I don't know if you saw this, my new go-to message, I just put our stock is overpriced, Elon Musk. So if they won't listen to him, I don't know who to listen to.
Go look at Der Headbanger. Please put their question.
Der Headbanger. Do you consider insider transactions too when investing? Is that what you want to talk about?
So they mean, are you looking at what the executives are doing? Yes and no.
Okay.
If the scale is 1 to 10, and this is I care about a ton. This is not. I'm like here. I'm probably like a 2.5. And when I say that, these executives are just as stupid as everybody else. They're going to make decisions for the dumbest reasons in the world without... Guys, the biggest thing that I learned in real world was everybody is as dumb as you were in high school. That's just it. They haven't gotten any smarter. One of the wealthiest people I know is a moron. I mean, listen, just the worst when it comes to investing. Actually, I don't know anybody that I know that's worth over $50 million. I go, they know investing, right? The smartest investor I know is worth like $7 million, I think. He's probably worth $5 to $10 million. That's a lot of money, but that's not what you'd imagine. So I look at this saying, do I care about the insiders? On very undervalued situations, I do. If I think the company's very, very undervalued, I'm gonna look at the insider work more than if they're overvalued. Because there's a saying, if it's undervalued and and the insiders are buying, I love that. That's huge to me. If it's overvalued and people are buying, that could just be them being dumb. If they're overvalued and they're selling, remember guys, a lot of these executives who have tons of stock just sell as part of financial planning. Like, listen, I can't have 95% of my net worth in this company. I don't care where it is. I gotta have diversification. So I don't really look at that. But when it's undervalued and they're buying, I like that a lot.
Benjamin, of course, we have some patrons that just literally they just correct our every sentence, and frankly, with me, I need that about every two
What'd
paragraphs.
I say?
No, it's me. He said that Elon did say overpriced, not overvalued, and then they announced a stock split, so it was overpriced, and they split it down so that normal people could buy, which we've gone over before. If you're interested in stock split videos, we have done that. All right, Paul, should we get after it? People are asking about Palantir. Should we get after another company, Paul?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Well, I love CCL.
Well, the only problem with CCL is it's not like, let's talk about the high level. CCL just announced that they're doing a $1 billion stock offering. That's dilution, guys. Now, I do like the idea of them. I don't like the idea of doing that when I think the stock is undervalued, right? Because I look at it saying, wait a second, if the stock is undervalued, I know this sounds crazy, I almost want them to take on debt more than, I think to me, helping me out as an investor is taking on the debt because they're not issuing more shares to people at an undervalued price. I don't like the issuing shares at an undervalued price. That to me is like giving, I don't like that. Do I still think CCL is underpriced over the long run? Yes, I do think they're still, but they've issued shares how many times now? Twice? To the tune of like $2.5 billion or almost like that. It's just like, I mean, that's diluting people. Do they still have room? Yeah, but at some point they keep doing it over and over, we're gonna have a problem. Now they are talking about, by the end of this year, having this pandemic be over and done with, right? You're not even paying attention to me, Seth.
No, not necessarily.
Go ahead.
The thing about it is, though, yes, they can say that it's going to be over this and that, but they've also said that now that the vaccine is out, people are going to be flying and this and that. They say if you had the plague before, you're not going to get the plague again. So we were just on a plane last week. You're still required to wear a mask, even though we got tested before we got on the plane and proved that we didn't have it. We had to wear a mask. We were traveling with somebody that had the vaccine. They had to wear a mask. I've had it before. I had to wear a mask. So they put the fear of God in everybody. I don't see anybody rushing towards planes right now. I don't see anybody that's going to be rushing towards cruises. Cruises are notorious for being disgusting.
Yeah.
So why would you have your disgustingness and then you're adding something on top of it, plus putting the fear of God into people? I don't know. I'm okay. I'm not saying I'm okay with what CCL's done, but they have to do something. Maybe they saw this as their best way of doing it, you know?
That's the thing. The question is, what's the best way of doing it?
Yeah.
And when we think a stock is undervalued, we don't want them issuing more shares. That's
Right.
especially the time.
Yeah.
You want to be buying back shares. Now, granted, they're in a cash crunch. I mean, what's their free cash flow over the last...
They've been burning $1.1 billion a month.
Say it again, Mo.
They've been burning $1.1 billion a month, I think, for 11 months.
in the last year, they have $10 billion in negative cash flow.
Yeah, so
It's going to be a tough road for a while,
it is going to be very
guys.
tough for them.
It's going to be tough for a while,
I still
but
believe in them.
I do too,
Yeah.
but every single time they issue more and more shares,
I know.
at first I said 50 or 60 bucks. Now I'm like, oh, maybe they're worth 45 or 55,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, okay, maybe it's more like 40 to 50.
Yeah.
I do think we're closer to the end of the pandemic than we are to the beginning of it. Now that the January 20th started, and all of a sudden the number of cases has mysteriously plummeted for some
weird.
odd reason.
Probably not a coincidence.
I actually was hating Mo for saying this before. He's like, Paul, the second the inauguration happens, the number of cases are gonna plummet. I'm like, no, it's not. And sure enough, boom. And I'm like, wait a second, this is even weird for me. So,
we're gonna hit all forms of the coronavirus argument. We'll hit
plague.
in politics and religion moving forward here on the show. I'm kidding. Paul.
David Spicer wants to do a Corona rant. No.
Okay, let's do this. Can we look at this? Guys, we do these shows.
Oh, great question from Nick.
Go ahead. Where is it? I
Paul,
missed
your
it.
expanded view of a company. Where do you find revenue growth from new store openings? They're 10K. They're 10K. It'll be all in there. You can even probably Google it and find it. But go to their 10K. It'll tell you same store growth versus overall growth. It's a wonderful question. It's very important.
We do these live streams, folks, to listen to what you guys want. We definitely have a couple companies we're going to talk about today. But I would say, Don, that this naked NA, what stock is that? NAKD. People are requesting. NK.
Naked Brand Group Limited.
Yeah. What is?
I don't have
this?
any. I don't have anything on them. There's like no even data for
There's
them.
no.
Can we? Why don't we do?
They're $1 a share.
Go ahead, Mo.
Why don't we do AMCX? We haven't done it. We haven't looked at it in a long time. Paul and I did have. We actually own the stock, and I think we sold puts on it back in.
Did somebody ask for AMCX?
Yeah, Phoenix did, and I think it's a good. I mean, I think we should go through this again. I think they're a good company. We know they are.
Okay.
So
Go ahead, Paul. Let's look that up.
So AMCX, they're another streaming business. I like them at like $20 a share. I'm not saying I don't like them now. Their big thing is like The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad. They were Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You know, so they're making good shows. They made a lot of very hit shows, and their free cash flow was wonderful. So let's just start this. I mean, by the way, their revenue and their price of sales is just one.
Yeah, so this is AMC Networks. Paul, you know I bought $5,000 of this on July 1st. I bought it around $23. It's currently $52, and we will look at our 8-pillar analysis of AMC Networks. What is the market cap for this puppy?
$2.8 billion with a PE of 20.6.
We're in. I'm calling it. We're in. That's a good one.
That's an X there, but that's okay.
Oh, that's an X,
Profit
sorry.
margin, only 4.85%, another X. So guys, off the dribble, we have 2 X's.
Uh-oh.
Off the dribble, I still like this company, and you'll see why.
Pillar number 3 is profit
By the way,
growth.
0 dividend.
Pillar number 3 is revenue growth over the past 5 years. Go ahead, Paul.
Let's see that revenue growth. Barely any revenue growth. 2.71, 2.82. That's a check. They went as high as 3.05 and then dipped. So we don't have their fourth quarter numbers yet. Profit growth over the last.
Yeah,
now this is bad, but look at this.
Pillar number 4.
346 to 137. That's an X.
Uh-oh.
But that's why I'm not worried about the PE, right? Because it had 346, 340, 520, 460, big drop. So this is an abnormal drop. I mean, they're talking about going back 10 years before 8 years before you see their profit being that low. So I'm not worried about that PE at all right now.
So if you have some info out there that we're missing, Paul, I'm really curious why when the lockdown occurred and everyone just sat around and watched TV, Mo, am I missing something?
Why did their revenue fall?
Why did their revenue fall so
That's
drastically?
part of the research process. Because I would have thought the same thing. Like, oh, they're a streaming business. They should have done better. But they had some big, like, go ahead,
And
Mo.
this is what kind of why it caught our eye back then, when everything was, we were staying home and we were thinking maybe this should be going up in price, and it wasn't. So let's see what's going on with it.
I mean, it's way outperformed them. I'm not trying to sit there and say pat ourselves in the back, but this is a stock that I was really into.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I missing here? Because I just love it, and then now it's tripled. So either way, shares outstanding.
Pillar number 5, Paul, go ahead.
About 72 million down to 57 million or so. I don't know, 54 million. So check mark there.
Check mark for shares outstanding. Pillar number 6 is current assets over current liabilities.
Current assets 2 billion. Current liabilities 835 million. Check mark there.
Check mark for pillar number 6. Pillar number 7 is free cash flow growth, and I will have to do the math, Paul. This will be upsetting.
And this is also why I'm not worried about it. In the last year, they did 670 million in free cash flow, even though their profit was only 136. So clearly there was some sort of write-off or something in that net income that's distracting you from the actual money that came in. And their free cash flow 5 years ago was 432 million. That's a check mark there. 432, 670, 265, 505, 437.
37. The average free cash flow over the past 5 years is 460 million, Paul, right? 460 million.
Times 20, 9.2 billion. It's currently at 2.8 billion. That's a check mark. Guys, it's currently selling for
Good
just
Lord.
the average. Oh, it's only selling for 5 times the last 5 years free cash flow.
Now let's slow this down. If you're new to the channel, I see a lot of the new.
No, 6 times.
I see a lot of new names in the comments. So this does not happen very often in value investing. What I write, Paul, we look at hundreds of companies and we get criticized because our metrics are too stern and maybe too difficult to meet for companies. But show what just happened with AMCX.
The company's currently worth 2.8 billion on the market. The market cap's 2.8 billion.
So if you wanted to buy the company,
You have to buy all the shares outstanding, cost you 2.8. Free cash flow in the last 12 months is 670 million. So right now it's selling for about 4 times the free cash flow. Guys, anytime it's single digits, I'm excited. In the last 5 years, the average was 460 million, which 2.8 times 2.8 billion divided by 460 million is roughly 6 times free cash flow. Yeah, guys. Again, if you believe in AMC, you believe they're going to still have these streaming rights for a long time, you think they're going to still make good content, I love the company. I think everything about the company is wonderful. It's just about, do you believe in the company long term? This is part of the 8 pillars. Remember, we had X's for the first 2. don't care because reading the more financials told me the exact story behind it.
Let's head over to Trader Momentum, Dr. Momentum on AMCX.
This is something I'm going to go and look for puts on after we finish the show. So I'm zoomed out right now to 18 months. So we have our high here, our low here, and we have broken through that 50% area with all this overhang. So this is very promising right now. Let me zoom in and show you guys. We have moved, we've done a sweet spot reversal. We have our first green candlestick today. So that means that buying is coming in here. If it's me, I'm waiting for one nice green engulfing candlestick day and I'm buying this stock. So I think this is like the first stock in a very long time that I've said, if you get a good green engulfing candlestick, you can actually go and buy it. So this is something that, I mean, this is looking great from a value side and a trading side. So we finally found one.
Thanks, Mo.
Again,
go ahead, Paul.
If you believe in AMC, and by the way, this is AMCX, AMC Networks, not the movie theater. Just remember that this is not the movie theater business. This is AMCX. If you believe in this, if you believe in their I mean, they also did, what are their biggest shows? I said the two biggest ones, Walking Dead.
I think that's the
No,
two
I think they had
biggest
more
ones.
than that.
Really?
Weren't they at Mad Men?
Mad Men was AMC, right? Yeah,
There you
back
go.
in the day.
And you know what's funny is back when we were looking at this, I said they need another Walking Dead. They need another Breaking Bad. They got to do something has to come out.
So that's the
that
thing.
they
If you
can-
believe they can get those,
and I think they will.
they're going to have a lot of money just being made off those 2 or 3 shows anyway for a long
Right.
period of time.
Right.
But that's part of the question is how long do they have the rights? I don't know how long they have the rights for forever. The question is
I don't
it going to
know
be like
how
a Seinfeld thing where, like, I believe I've watched Breaking Bad for the 3rd time in the last month. I believe Breaking Bad's a show that kids are going to watch, 20 years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 years from now. So they probably have a lot of runway with this. And that free cash flow multiple is pretty low. Better Call Saul.
They just came out with that movie El Camino last year.
Yeah, that was on Netflix.
that's-
I watched it. It was
right,
good.
but it was
decent.
But it was content.
Okay, we got tons of comments. So people are just straight up saying, Paul, is this a buy right now? And what else should I look for? I mean, obviously people are looking for guidance. We look to you for answers. Is this a buy right now?
As I said, it is 100% a buy if you believe that going forward, they're still going to be able to make quality shows. That's the future of AMC Networks. It's not, as we go to more streaming, they're going to make quality shows that they can then go out there and sell to the streaming businesses or make their own streaming service that you're willing to pay several dollars a month for. I'm never going to tell you, is it a buy for sure? Is it not a buy? I personally was a big buyer in the 20s. And even now, I'm going to sell puts in the future on them. But I'm not like, my strategy is different. I still believe the market's going to go lower, so I have no problem selling puts to buy it when it does go lower, because it'll go lower even when the market falls. But when it does fall, guys, be ready for buying opportunities for it.
John has a great question. Is it for AMCX? Is it undervalued or overpriced?
Based on the numbers alone, it is undervalued.
Yeah.
Just on the numbers. Forget about the future. Just the numbers.
Before you go and do this, go and read the 10K. Take this as an opportunity to go and practice reading the 10K. Look through the risk factors, look through their business model, see what content they have, what's their future plans. This is a perfect stock to go through and read the 10K because there's going to be a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
Why is Spicer such a troll?
I was, yeah, that's funny. Alex is saying that AMCX is on the magic formula, which is why I bought it last year, and it's gone up 120% for me, Paul. Obviously, I bought it in the enormous dip, but guess what? The magic formula told me that this is one of the companies I should trust in. So, so this is our take on a final take on AMCX, Paul. What do you think?
Listen, I'm a fan, but
Very interesting. Mo
well,
as
wait a
well.
second. Let's look
I'm
at
a fan. I'm going to go look at puts. I doubt I'm going to get anything good right now, but for where I want to buy it, but it's worth a shot. It's worth a look.
And where can people track down? Ibrahim is asking, where can people track down that 10K, Paul?
SEC.gov. Type in AMCX. Click on it. Actually, let me just show you how to do it right now.
Please do,
Guys, watch this.
While Paul's pulling this up.
Well, no, you want to watch the video.
Oh, really?
I want to have them watch me what I'm doing here.
Okay. Go ahead, Don. Let's look on Paul. I'll narrate. No, I'm
Okay,
kidding.
so
Go ahead,
AMC. This is SEC.gov. You go to the top right-hand corner here, AMCX. It'll pop down. Click on AMC Networks. Filing type 10K. Search, and the most recent one. Click Documents. Click the top link. And there you go. There's your 10K.
Okay, well, now that we're here and everyone's leveling up and learning, Paul, why don't you walk us through a smidge of this?
Okay, so Right here, risk factors. That's business is gonna be very generic stuff. But it's gonna talk to you about all the things they have there. Global entertainment company known for its groundbreaking, award-winning original content. BBC America, own and operate 4 targeted, I don't know what that is. AMC Networks also operates IFC Films, a film distribution business. See, I didn't even know that. Strategy, etc. Then you go to risk factors.
Risk factors.
Yeah, so risk factors are, is that here? No. Oh, actually, look at this, revenue. We earn revenue principally from a distribution of our programming and the sale of advertising. Distribution revenues primarily include fees paid by distributors to carry our programming networks. This is an important part. Distribution revenue, advertising revenue, programming, all these things. Then there's risk factors. Where's risk factors? Oh, they actually break down every single channel they have here. Sundance TV, AMC Studios. What's this? El Gourmet? I don't know what that is. Oh my gosh, they have a lot of stuff here, guys.
So this is the deep dive you might do when looking at a company.
But I'm reading this. I'm not going to just skim it. I'm going to read it, guys. That's a very important factor here. But the risk factors are the big part. Our business depends on the appeal of our programming, etc. They're going to talk about all these. Some of these risk factors are very, very generic. Like, oh, if all of a sudden everybody in the world dies, our business will go under. Okay, sounds good. Like, we know that's things like that. I'm being facetious. That's not really true what they're going to say. I'm just sitting there saying it from the standpoint of these are some of the risks that are involved. But then you're going to sit there and let's look up Breaking Bad. Let's see if anything. So AMC is the home of the most popular acclaimed programs on television. Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Walking Dead. What's Preacher? I never heard of Preacher. Oh, look at this. Availability on FuboTV.
Come on.
Yeah, it says it right there.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, so anyways, guys, these are all the things on here. I'm not gonna go just read it. It's boring. And by the way, don't read it, but if you go do a little bit of research on the internet to see what they're doing, you're gonna just doing 20 minutes of research is going to give you a world of information on this company. You don't need to read the entire 10K. People would disagree with me. Gary would disagree with me. The bigger the company, I think the less likely you are to read the 10K. This is a smaller company, though. You want to spend a little more time knowing what the future of their programming is, because that's going to drive everything. Going back to fraud, how do we know and can trust a company's 10K? You can't, right? I mean, that's the same as asking how do you know you can trust their financials. You just have to go out there and figure it out. Yeah. Billy Ortiz, a great follow of ours, says, let's get off this just a smidge. Will the website tell us if it... Sorry, Billy. You've been asking this question a lot. I want to get to this, Paul. So anyway, folks, I'll get to it right now. That is our take on AMCX. I own it. I bought more of it just last week, and I do love this. Of the 30 stocks I own, obviously being up 120% since I bought it, I'm in love with it. Billy asked, going back to the Everything Money website, which you're showing, will the website tell us if a dividend is affordable for companies? Will it tell us if the dividend is safe? Well, that's a great question. Thanks, Billy. Let's go to Microsoft, just because that's always my go-to. On here, it's going to tell you dividends paid in the last 12 months. And then 2 levels above it, the free cash flow the last 12 months. So it's going to tell you what it paid and the free cash flow, 15.8 versus 50. There you go. Nice. Right here on the main page. Right on the main page. And it's going to, that's the 8 pillars page, but it's also here on the metrics page, which is going to have the chart. It's in the same location. I have the data on both, right there. It's going to tell you it right there. Guys, I'm trying to mimic this the way we do our show. It's going to save you so much time. Have I said this before? If you're not willing to spend $13 a month to learn all this and have all this data, you're crazy. And there's going to be more coming. There's going to be a lot more coming to the show, to the website as the show. I have a full-time developer. Our entire channel is going to be focused on software and giving you guys software to let you guys learn more and more. That's our whole goal of the channel as we grow our subscribers. Yeah, folks, I say this all the time, and people comment, don't bring up other YouTubers, but in general, I watch other shows, Mo, and I see that it kind of looks like some college kid sitting in his spare bedroom of a house. Meanwhile, your Uncle Paul is putting together what he thinks can be the best financial show on YouTube. And this year alone, he's giving away 2 Teslas to prove it. He's hiring a developer. We're bringing you software. We think on our end that the value we're providing is far better than just some hyped talking points and some hearsay. And so if you agree... and we've already gotten patron signups during the show. And we only have 155 spots remaining in the lowest group. Guys, this is gonna be the main page once we do it. We're gonna have 8 pillars. Boom. We're gonna have a real estate calculator. We're gonna have momentum trading. This one might be extra. I hate to tell you guys that, that. This might be extra per month because the data feed on this one is going to be crazy expensive for me to do. So this one will probably be an extra buy-in. But the other ones, retirement calculator, loan calculator, chart trading will also be extra because of all the data. But you're going to get at least these 4 for free as long as you're a patron, and more to come. I mean, we're just going to keep adding news. We're going to add everything to this. This is, remember one thing, we're doing everything here like this was built for Mo and I. Because that's what it was. It was like, let's build software for ourselves. Oh wait, people keep asking, this is exactly how this happened. People keep asking us for the software and we're like, well, we're building it for ourselves. Let's at least go get it out to people. Literally, this is what I'm going to use for my entire life and my entire research analysis. We're gonna at some point have the 10K on there for you to just download and look up. So you don't have to go to the sec.gov and do that. These are all part of the plan. You're crazy for not signing up today because it'll be $50 a month, $100 a month at some point in the future.
Paul, go ahead, Mo. I'm sorry about that.
So I'm gonna plug my channel for a second. So this is CCL. This morning, CCL opened up, I think it was down 4 or 5%. And today, this is a 15-minute chart. We have an absolutely textbook perfect day trade going on right here. I just texted the guys in my Mo's Muscles Patreon chat and I said, guys, after the show is over, make sure I do a video for you explaining this because it's actually textbook perfect of what I want to show. That's what you're gonna get in my channel. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do these kind of 15-minute trades of something that was down 4% this morning, and now we are up almost 2%. So you could have made 5-6% today, depending on when you would grab it. So that's great.
Someone asked, Paul, this is very similar to our video on MSGN Networks, which I did reach out and get another 150 shares of just recently after our video and our 8-pillar analysis. So yeah, Mattia is asking that. So, okay, guys. Paul, do we want to keep cooking here? It's after 2 o'clock. How are you doing?
Yeah, let's keep going. I've had like 4 or 5 requests of people saying, I don't know if I should be giving that. My personal Instagram account.
I mean, all it is pictures of you laying around with your dog.
That's all it is.
If that's what they want, if they want it, they want it, Paul. Listen, let them find it. No, just let them.
I'll just do this.
Well, okay.
PD Pob MF. It's literally pictures of me and my dogs. And so I do videos of me being funny. Like I got a hole-in-one last year, and I recorded myself getting like I literally happened to catch it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" running through the thing. But either way, have fun.
Okay, guys. Great. Caitlin, thanks for joining. John says he just joined up. We love you guys. Yeah. Let's see, Paul. These comments are so funny. I can't even host the damn show. Listen, we love you guys. Paul, did you watch Ted Lasso? Mo, did you watch?
No, is that good?
Amazing show.
I love it.
This is the one I told you about.
I know. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm trying, Paul. When you watch it, I'm trying to be a real world Ted Lasso.
What is Ted Lasso? What is he doing?
He's just Mo. He's just like so over.
So he's this guy. So basically, there's this guy that coached football in the South in the United States.
Oh, right.
And the wife of the soccer team in Europe wanted to destroy her team because she just divorced her wife.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Love Jason Sudeikis.
So like basically,
it was such a great movie. Such a great show.
What I'm trying to do is just bring like just an overwhelming sense of happiness and joy to the world, and it's made me a lot happier, Paul. I know that Anyway, I just try to. So folks, this is a comedy show based around disciplined investing. But I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. But anyway, that's sort of you guys are, and your comments are really adding to this. I can hardly host a damn show because you guys are hilarious. Okay, Paul, let's keep cooking. You want to keep cooking here?
Yeah. So On Mohammed asks, what about discussing ROE, ROA, debt to equity? Those are very, very good metrics to look at, and understanding what they are is very important. ROE, ROA is the net income divided by the equity, net income divided by the assets. How are they able to make money based on their assets and equity? Debt to equity is very important to understand. Is a company too leveraged? Do I look at those things? Yes. Do I look at them initially? Surprisingly, you might be surprised to hear this, I do not. I want to look at the company's ability to generate money and increase their revenue, increase their profit, things like that. That is more important to me off the dribble than anything else. How their capital structure, as it's called, is handled is important. Don't get me wrong, but I want to sit there, like it can be manipulated. Return on equity, if you have a lot of debt, your return on equity is going to be very high because there's very little equity if you have a lot of debt. Return on assets, that's better. I just look at it saying, the little book that beats the market is very big on the return on assets. Their big thing is ranking return on assets and earnings yield. So do I look at them? Absolutely. Are they a primary focus to start? They are not.
Okay, guys. Do you want to hit up another stock or just answer some general questions?
Can you do AOS?
Yeah,
RJ Wolf.
Don,
love this guy.
I pulled that off.
He's messaged
One of our
55 times.
One of our patrons just asked AOS, which is A.O. Smith Corporation.
Oh, I love A.O. Smith.
Oh, let's talk about it then.
I should say I looked at their stock a while back. I'm not saying I love the stock. I'm just sitting there saying,
Okay.
these are the kind of companies I like. It's an HVAC business, right?
Founded in 1874. I mean, what kind of AC they were doing back then? That's a joke, obviously.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. This is A.O. Smith Company, ticker symbol AOS. Their stock has been up and down, and let's get after it right now, Mr. Gabriel. What is the
$10 billion market cap.
10 billion. Great. 10 billion.
Dividend yield of 1.5%. So to answer your question, they paid $158 million in dividends last year, and free cash flow was $505 last year. So that was very good. PE of 29 though, so that's an X.
A little high.
Profit margin 12%. Check mark.
We like that. It needs to be over 10. Pillar number 3 is revenue growth over the past 5 years. Revenue growth.
How can you look at this, guys, and not want this? This is incredible. Like, I'm so proud of this.
You know, Paul, you should be, because I did not think the website could look this marvelous.
And it's still getting better. Like, I don't have dollar signs in half these things. You know what I mean?
People are saying we should have little frowny faces or smiley face emojis pop up. I mean, the fact that you created this, and you're not new to this, folks. I mean, Paul is owner of a Dynasty Owner Football League, which is taking off, and the software for that's incredible. So I am proud too. I'm sure Mo and Don, the whole team is, but this looks phenomenal, and the patrons so far are thrilled just to be beta testing it. So keep going, Paul. Pillar number 3 is revenue growth.
2.7 to 2.9, check mark there. They went up a few years and fell down, but still it is a check mark nonetheless.
Pillar number 4 is profit growth on this beautiful Everything Money website.
And by the way, I'd venture a guess that during the shutdown, do you think HVAC would have done better or worse?
I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know. All right, profit. 326
During the shutdown?
345, check mark. Yeah, during the shutdown.
I think it would be better. I mean, everybody's running it all the time.
Yeah, but they didn't have money.
Who didn't have money?
It's HVAC business. They have to, they're repairing and they're making new HVAC units. Isn't that what they do?
Yeah.
They make air conditioners and heaters and all that stuff.
Maybe if they were running so much, they would break, and then people might begin to go buy a new one with all their stimulus money that the president gave them.
Correct. You're president.
Thank you.
No.
Pillar number, are we done, boys?
Yeah.
Pillar number 5. Pillar number 5 is shares outstanding. We want this going down. Is it, Paul?
Again, it is going down. I don't look at this number. It's not accurate, but it is going down. Overall, it is correct still in terms of the ratio. It is going down.
Pillar
Check
number,
mark.
6 is current assets over current liabilities.
Bless you. 1.4 billion. Oh, wow. Versus 805. But look at this. They have total liabilities of 1.22. So 1.4 in cash. Oh, they could pay off all their liabilities right now with the current assets. That's phenomenal. That's great. It's hard for businesses to go under when they have enough cash on hand to pay off all their debts. That's incredible.
Oh, Nathan Gillen is watching, Don. Do you see
Nathan's
that?
in the house?
He's in, where is he, in Latvia or
No,
Luxembourg? Nathan, our associate producer, Nathan, is abroad. And Nathan, welcome. We love you. You know I love you. Let's see.
You say that a lot.
Well, listen, I'm trying to bring love back, baby. I mean, you and I say, I do love you.
Oh, I love you immensely.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's...
We've grown in our relationship that I'm not afraid to say...
I leave the phone with you and say love you, and you say love you, bye.
Yes, because I do. I mean, you've formulated my whole life. You've changed everything about my whole life.
It's more than that, I think.
And I reside in you I asked you questions about my life, what moves to make.
You asked me to videotape you and Beth.
I was selling $25,000 in magic cards last night, and I called Paul for consulting on his sale. And so,
by the way, that was a good question. We're going to get back to it. Let's talk about that, because I think it's a good process to think about.
Okay, let's get back to, this is AOS, A.O. Smith Company, and
free cash flow.
Free cash flow. Thank you, Paul.
Remember, guys, free cash flow used to pay dividends, make acquisitions, buy back shares. They went from 469 to 505, check mark. But look at this. 469 was a big year relative to their past, and then it fell down here and then jumped up again. So it's very important here. This is why I like taking averages, because there might be crazy years here or there that skew it. So Seth.
I got it.
You have it all?
Yep, I got it. Divided by 5, the average free cash flow is 390.
So what I need to do on this site, by the way,
Go on.
I need to sit here and over here to the right, have it say 390 average 5 year.
You see?
That's what I need to do. I'll forget that. So 390, the company is currently a $10 billion company. Divided by 390 is a little bit over 25. That's an X.
It's a smidge high, right?
it's a high, and
Before you lose people, what we normally do, folks, is we'll take that 390, which is our free cash flow, and we want to multiply that by a basis we'll start around 20 for a normal growth company. This is not, Paul, would you consider this a higher growth company? No. I
would not, because you saw the revenue. The revenue was actually dipping in the last couple of years. It's not up a ton from the previous 5 years. The free cash flow, you can see, is growing a ton, but it looks like I don't trust that this is a normalized year. This is not a normalized year. I mean, look at it. It goes 90, 170, 150, 170, 260, 470, 230, 360, 390. It's trending up, but I still think 20 times free cash flow is ample. So at that rate, you're looking at around 7.8 billion in value. That's the 390 times 20, or 8 billion on the high side. I'm not saying this is the exact price, but it's not far off. You could sell options here to go to a lower level, but again, as a value investor, I want to buy it for way less than 8 billion.
Speaking of options, we'll head over to Dr. Momentum to talk about momentum trading for AOS.
So this is very similar to Texas Instruments. There was many times throughout this year where we were over all 4 of our major moving averages, making these higher areas to buy. So right now, we're getting into this range of, we're overbought on our stochastic. So all that means is just use stops when you're playing this. And if we break out, it doesn't look like it's going to happen today based on the time, but tomorrow, if we get an engulfing candlestick like that, that will be a new 52-week high, and that might be a new all-time high. I don't know. But go ahead and buy it and just keep riding the wave. This is a nice stock, just like Texas Instruments.
Wow, listen to Mo go. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But,
we have 11 minutes left. Maybe we should do some question and answer.
Yeah, let's do that. Q&A time for beloved Seth, Mo, Don, and Paul. Go ahead and fire them in there, folks. We're getting a little tired of the 8 pillars.
I'm not getting tired of the 8 pillars. It's just I don't think we have the time. Plus, I like to use the last. We get a lot of comments. I get a lot of comments from the patrons when we go over. When we do questions, people love it. So we answer questions and do that.
Mo, will you
Billy Ortiz. What's on the wrist?
What is on that wrist there?
This is a new watch.
Come on, you bought one?
I bought one in Mexico. So Mo and I are flying to Mexico. What was that?
I know what you're talking about. In the Mexican airport, you mean?
So I'm flying through Mexico City.
You bought that watch? Go on.
2 Fridays ago. And Mo bought one too. We're walking through the terminal. There's a duty-free shop, and I go, "Oh my God! Look at these watch brands they have. They're good watch brands: Hublot, IWC, Mont Blanc, things like that." So I go there. Rewind a year ago. I'm at a local store, and I'm on the internet looking. I see this watch that I love. I go to a local store that I always buy my watches from. I'm like, "Hey, do you have this?" "Oh, Paul, it's a rare watch. It's hard to get. We'll try to get it for you, etc." They tried to get it for me. They never brought it in. I go there. I go to the IWC section. There it is right there.
The watch you wanted?
So I look at the guy. I go, "How much is this?" He tells me the price. It's MSRP. I knew what the price was. I go, "So like, what's the deal here?" He goes, 30% off. And I go,
"Come on.
Excuse me?" He goes, "Yeah, we're running a special 30% off on all watches." I go, "Any tax?" He goes, "No, it's duty free, no tax."
Oh, come on.
"I'll take it." He goes, "Great, what's your flight?" I told him we're going to Manzanillo. He goes, "You can't buy it." I go, "What do you mean?" It's like, it's duty free. You have to buy it when you're going back into the States.
Right.
So I go, I looked at him in the face. I pointed at him, and Mo's there to verify. I said, "If this watch is gone next week, I will kill you." I literally said those words to this beautiful Mexican guy. I go, "If this watch is gone." So I grabbed his, I'm like, "Listen, I need your number." So I took his number, messaged him WhatsApp. 3 days later, he goes, "Listen, are you really going to buy this watch?" I go, 1,000%. Put it in the back room. He goes, "Okay." So he puts it in the back room. Then Mo sees this watch that he has.
What do you got there?
I got a Hublot Classic Fusion. Very nice watch. Very nice.
So anyways, this is an IWC Portugueser yacht club. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love the plastic bands nowadays. Leather and plastic, way more. It's a beautiful watch. That's the answer.
That's very yuppie sounding, a yacht watch. Okay.
Yes.
Someone's asking about.
And by the way, J5T3R, does buying puts on a stock work with a long term? I sell puts on the stocks for my long term strategy. I want to sell puts, getting the stock at a lower price while being paid to wait. That's what I do for the long term.
Do you have any thoughts on cryptocurrencies people want to hear?
Yeah, I avoid them, but they've been going up like crazy. Do whatever you want. I just don't buy into them. I just feel like
Well, there's so
Fugazi,
many.
Fugazi, whatever it's called. I just don't buy into them.
Yeah, it's fairy dust. Yeah, pixie dust. I mean, no, there's just, so if you're new to the channel, we're not going to talk much about those coins because there's a zillion of them, and a new hype one will surely fire up in the coming weeks. Mo, what are your thoughts? Are you into any all these ridiculous coins?
Bitcoin and stuff?
Any of the coins?
No, you know what? I keep going back to this.
It's fake news.
And somebody said, I did almost say that. Somebody said to me, Bitcoin is worth as much as dog poop. And I said, that's actually not true.
Yes.
Dog poop is worth more than Bitcoin because you can use dog poop as fertilizer or something, and you can sell it.
The argument maybe you could if you had it, you could buy things with it. Not much, but you could buy things.
True. You know what also is driving me crazy about this? There's a lot of people out there saying that you're going to Bitcoin's going to replace currency.
Of course.
So what you're doing is taking US dollars, buying, we'll call it an asset, to go up in price, to sell, to generate more US dollars. So how are we creating a new currency if all you're trying to do is generate more US dollars?
I think we'll open up a whole can of worms, but yeah, that was my argument too, Mo, is I just
Well,
can't
all
quite
currencies
understand.
are converted to other currencies. I mean, I
True,
get that.
but this thing is,
To me, it's just-
if the software program goes away, it's gone.
If the U.S. government goes away, it's gone.
True, it's a lot harder for the US government to go away than a software program.
That's what I believe, but what do I know? Again, it's an prime example. If I don't understand it, I'm going to avoid it. And if one more person in this world says, Paul, it's about the blockchain, I will find a blockchain.
That has
and
gone
beat
away.
you-
No, that has gone away.
No, it hasn't. And I will beat you to death with that blockchain. I don't even know the blockchain's a real chain.
Paul, I don't think. I mean, the people who are getting in nowadays
funny.
have no idea what a blockchain. It's a fool's theory, right? What is it?
Yes.
Explain
Greater
that one
fool
more
theory?
time. Greater fool theory.
Yeah, it's we're hoping somebody else is going to be dumber than us to go buy it at a higher price.
KP just asked me, would I buy Trump coin? Yeah, I'd buy Trump
Probably
coin.
would, yeah, for sure. How many shares do you normally buy of a stock? A nice beginner question, Paul. I mean, how many shares do you normally buy of a stock? What goes into that process?
I have, my goal is to own 25 or 30 stocks. So I want to own 3 to 4% of my money in every single stock. If I believe the real way to do it, the right way is put more into stocks I think are more undervalued than the other ones. So with my portfolio, it's a lot. I mean, it's close. I mean, it's just a lot of money that I'm putting in there. And people are like, oh, this guy's so. I'm not saying it to brag, but we have Mo and I have sizable portfolios we manage for ourselves and our family. But it's big numbers. Like we're not dealing with 100 shares. We're dealing with thousands of shares at a time. Even tens of thousands in some situations, which is very fortunate for us. But it's part of the deal.
Feature on Livestream. Hey, thought. Bearded Wonder, folks, as a spoiler for patrons out there, I interviewed Bearded Wonder last Friday. Paul had a nice sit down, a nice sit down chat with him about his life, his investing life, and we're going to release this as a Patreon exclusive video. We want to highlight great stories from our patrons, so I'll be doing more of these videos. But he said he had a question for us. Should we have a Patreon guest featured on the live stream? Any thoughts? I think we'll absolutely have some of our patrons on the show.
How do we get them in on the live stream?
Well, that's the problem. I think COVID is shutting us down. The show would probably go bonkers.
No, but can we bring them in on like a stream here?
Why don't we just bring them in on all I'm thinking of is that episode of The Office where Andy Bernard was singing with his friends from Cornell, and they put the guy up here, and he was kind of in the room with them, and they were singing their songs with Broccoli Rob and whatnot. That's what we could do.
What was their name of their barbershop quartet?
Geez.
It was like really funny.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, that's definitely something we were thinking of, guys, for sure. We'd love to have patrons come on, and there are so many intelligent ones.
Mason did have on this trip. Mason came on the trip with us, and he had a lot of good merch ideas. He brought about 70 merch ideas, so we're going to start implementing them over time. Probably not for a while, not till at least 50,000 users. We're going to do a lot of merch drops. It's going to be like, guys. By the way, every patron gets a discount on all merch. So if you join the Patreon, you get a discount forever on merch as long as you're a paying user. And you get a discount on all Crossroads goods, not merch, like vanities, light fixtures, etc. You get discounts. So anyhow, Mason had great merch ideas. I want to get it to the point where I can only buy 200 units of something and sell them out quickly and be done with it. It'll be limited edition for everything.
Step One Finance is asking, when is it good for a company to issue more shares, Paul? We've talked about this before, but remind us.
So there's no black or white answer. But if a company's price is overvalued, that's why I didn't mind what Tesla was doing, but it still hurts all the investors. If you're overvalued and people want the shares, don't issue debt. Issue shares. I get that. 100% I get that. if they're going to make an acquisition that has a high return, you want to make acquisitions with expensive shares, right? So like, let's say, for example, you own Amazon stock and it's $3,500 a share, but you think it's worth $1,000. For every share you give them, in your head, you're giving them $1,000, but they're thinking they get $3,500. Do you follow what I'm saying? So you're gonna issue more shares at $3,500. That's the smart thing to do. It's weird to think about, but just think about that. We think about it as if you're gonna buy a car for $35,000, would you rather give them 35 grand cash or 10 shares at 3,500 that you think are worth $1,000 each or $10,000? You'd rather give the $10,000 worth of stock than 35 grand of your cash. That's the idea behind it. So I still overall want to see a company making the smart decisions for the investors. And issuing shares can be a smart decision if your shares are very, very overpriced.
Andy Bernard's trio or singing quartet was the Here Comes Treble. Mo. Remember the Here Comes Treble.
That's it.
Okay, and Paul, we've discussed doing zany bits on the show. Like, I think we need to do, I'll get in a cheap suit and do the Kevin Trips chili episode where I just walk into your office and throw chili everywhere. We have to start filming these and
I would
reenacting
be absolutely impressed.
Go on.
And then utterly upset. And then laughing hysterically.
Well, yeah, I have ideas for these, so we'll get to that, folks.
It's time.
It's time? Okay.
Yeah, it's 2:28. Let's roll.
Okay. We thank everyone, as always, for being on the show, for support around the world. We'll see you on the Discord channel, our beloved patrons. For our producer, Don, who's been switching the cameras for the past 90 minutes. He probably has carpal tunnel by now. Yeah, we appreciate you guys for your support. We love you. For Paul and his shorts, for Trader Mo, join Trader Mo in the middle tier.
Thanks, guys.
Of the Patreons, if you're interested in day trading. And as always, we will see you on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern for another live show. Yeah, I love you.
I think this is a record, by the way. This is a record show.
Another record show. Thanks, guys. Love you.
Peace out.